Hello, my name is Annie Liu and I'm one of the UTAs for KN251. This week is very heavy on memorization for all the different kinds of bones and such. So today I'll be giving out tips on memorizing the hand bones. We'll be going over the ways and the mnemonics to memorize the hands. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we have a picture of the bones of the hands, and we'll be breaking this picture down into distinct parts. But before all that, let's actually orient ourselves spatially, all right? So we are actually going to supinate our hands so that you see it in the anterior view. And this is the anterior view right here with the palms facing forward and out. Supinate, I like to remember to hold a bowl of soup, which basically involves you having your palms out and forward as well. So let's first talk about where the ulna and radius is, just for a quick review. So the ulna is attaches on to the pinky, goes towards the pinky, excuse me, and the radius goes towards the thumb. Let's move proximal to distal. Again, proximal is closer to the attachment point of the shoulder. This will be the shoulder. Here's the arm. So proximal, and then going downward will be distal, okay? So moving proximal to distal, we first have the carpals right here, and then following that, we have the metacarpals. And then we have the three sets of phalanges, the proximal phalange, the intermediate phalange, and finally the distal phalange. The way to remember that carpals is the first set of bones and then metacarpal is the second set of bones is actually the prefix meta itself actually means after. So if we know that meta means after, we can think of it as carpals comes first, and then after carpal is metacarpal, right? Another way to remember this is just the alphabet, basically. We know that C comes before M, so carpal, then metacarpal. The three types of phalanges can be remembered actually by the directional terms we learned in week 1. So proximal is closer to the attachment point, which is the shoulder, and distal is closest to the tip of the fingers. So the proximal phalanges will be closest to the attachment point, which again is the shoulders. And then following that will be the intermediate phalanges. And then after that, finally, the distal phalanges, as we know, is the farthest away from the attachment point, which will be the tip of the finger. Exactly what these are, right? So again, it goes from proximal phalanges, then afterwards we have the intermediate phalanges, and then finally, we have the distal phalanges, okay? One thing to also note is that the digit 1, or also called the pollex, actually doesn't have a middle phalange. As you can tell with the other, from digits 2 to 5, they have the intermediate phalange. But the digit 1, or pollex, actually only has 2. It only has a proximal and distal. The way for me to remember that the pollex is also digit 1, so this is pollex right here. Again, that's digit 1, right? I actually think about the green thumb, okay? So right there. And the reason why I think about the green thumb is pollex sounds similar to pollen, in my opinion. So this sounds similar to pollen. And yeah, so I relate pollen to, greenery and such and flowers, which reminds me of the green thumb. Again, digit 1. I'm going to be doing this in a live video format just so that it'll be easier to follow along, as I'll be providing a tip on how to prevent getting mixed up on where the radius goes to and where the ulna goes to. Alright, so let's just get started because this honestly helped me a lot during the exams and such. So let's first orient ourselves spatially. I think that's really important to do so. So we are trying to view it in an anterior view, right? So the first thing we need to do is supinate our hands, okay? And remember what I said in the previous slide is to pretend like you're holding a hot bowl of soup, okay? So holding a hot bowl of soup, you'll be holding it like this, all right? Do you see how the palm is facing forward and it's also open, right? So this is an anterior view of the palm. So supination turns into anterior view. Okay, so let's just go over some other things too. The radius goes towards digit 1, pollex or the thumb. The ona goes towards digit 5 or the pinky finger, right? So the way that I remembered that the radius goes towards the thumb is actually looking at the curvature from the thumb to the index, or digit 1 to digit 2. So this part right here, I just related this curvature right here to the curvature on the R of radius. And I know it sounds a little bit outlandish, but trust me, during an exam, like at least for me, it really helped me. So again, the curvature right here reminds me of the curvature on the R in the word radius. For the ona, it's something similar as well, and this might stick with you a little bit better. So the ona is right here, and it goes towards digit 5, or as you know, the pinky finger. So if you look at the pinky finger right here, it's long and straight. It reminds me of the L in ona. And yeah, so again, ona goes to the pinky, which looks like the L in ona. And then the radius goes towards the digit 1, yeah. And then that reminds me of the curvature in the R. So that's my tip right there. All right, thank you. Okay, so here is a mnemonic that me and a good amount of other K251 students use in order to remember the carpal bones. And the reason is just because on how helpful this mnemonic is actually. So it is so long to pinky, here comes the thumb. And what I like about this mnemonic a lot is that these words aren't just, random words, but it's kind of like a direction too. So long to pinky, we're going, let's change that color to pink. So we're going towards the pinky, right? So long to pinky. Here comes the thumb. And then we're going this way, okay? Oh, and this is digit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I mean by it follows a directional term, okay? So scaphoid is this orange one right here. Then, then it goes to lunate. Here, let me choose a different color. So then it goes to lunate and such, and lunate is the blue one right here, and it keeps on going. And then here is the hamate again in purple, and it keeps on going, and then it goes towards trapezoid, and then finally the trapezium, which is the thumb one right here. So that's what I mean by it's directional. So long to pinky, it takes a long time to get to the pinky, right? Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, here comes the thumb. So then now you loop back and go towards the thumb. Alright, so that concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching, and study hard. Make sure to review your structure list and come to class prepared. Thank you.